hosts for the day, GO versus Misfits. Both these teams are 2 and 3. And look at my eyes as I open them. What do I see? Well, Lee Sin has been banned away on ban number 3. It's banned 1, but
I was gonna say,
I wonder why.
The Lee Sin is good. The Lee Sin ban is actually really interesting. I mean, right as Austin was highlighting it towards the end, it's got to be really high priority for these teams. And I'm pretty sure both of Kareem's wins here on GamersOrigin were when he was playing the Lee Sin.
Yeah.
And because both these teams want to prioritize it, I think Misfits are like, just take it away. Don't give him that opportunity. The Akali makes a lot of sense for that same reason. I was thinking that we'd see Ornn banned on red side as well, just because one, Vizicachi has been playing really well on that pick overall. Ornn is incredibly strong, so much so that you can blind it on your last pick on blue 3 here. So it's something that if you don't ban away, it's such a strong pick that you're willing to let go of, and it just shows that they don't want to do that.
And we've seen that how Chachi has really come into his role when on GO, he's allowed to have these long-range setup tanks and make sure he keeps himself alive, and he can kind of dictate the pace of a lot of these fights that have been going really, really well for GO too, which, speaking of the other different fights, one more way to make sure that your carry stays safe is getting the Thresh, and I believe Aphelios might follow considering it is up, and I believe the Death was also talking about getting Woolite on a hard carry just to make sure, you know, he's able to deal so much of that damage, as he was the one of the biggest success stories and one of the ways that Misfits did win out in the previous season.
Yeah, but so far I think it's going to end up being securing yourself a strong mid. I think for Chayak yesterday when he was playing the Twisted Fate, things didn't really go his way, and I think it is in part due to having to deal with Checolad playing the Victor. So instead, you're just going to go for something simpler. You don't have to necessarily play for the macro with that Destiny. Instead, you're going to give him the scaling pick, the one that's going to get you a lot of priority as time goes on, and the one that's going to be a big damage threat later in the game.
Speaking of big damage threats, GO put Smiley on the Jhin yet again. We did see this on the win yesterday as well, considering the disgusting amount of crits he put out in the setups. Like we're saying, but consistently throughout whether these drafts, especially alongside the back of the current call, can be oh so impactful. I'm going to hold my breath yet again, but let's talk a little bit about what we see going throughout as well. Like you said, a Syndra, solid pick into the Victor, especially because you can offer solid amount of CC and just the outplay button, and there was the Aphelios that we were talking about. Yeah,
and this is, I think you're in a tough spot there with Misfits. You either pick the jungle there, probably something like the Viego or something, or you risk the Aphelios getting banned out, or you pick the Viego and then the Aphelios will most likely get banned out here. So it's going to be tough. Misfits must have an idea on what they're going to throw Tinks on in the jungle. And it's going to have to be probably something other than the big 3, since we see Kareem on the Xin Zhao, and of course the Lee Sin was taken away by Misfits themselves here. So I am wondering what we're going to see. The Vizicachi Poppy ban does make a lot of sense versus best play champ. And I imagine top lane is where a lot of these bans will go.
Yeah, and considering a lot of solid plays into the beginning of success for GO was off of Vizicachi's Poppy, I am not surprised at all. One ban that I'm specifically looking for as well is taking out Enjoy's Alistar.
Yeah,
I know we were talking about, you know, just before the death as well, just considering how good he's been on it, and considering just I don't think he's missed the QW combo on any single priority target. So we'll remain to see and hold our breath as GP gets banned away as well. Not necessarily surprised, because then you don't want that on the global pressure. And for Misfits yesterday, right, that was a lot of their undoing. So taking more of our options out of Vizicachi as Gwen actually goes away as well.
Yeah, it does make sense. I mean, Vizicachi hasn't done so well on the Gwen, at least when we've seen him do it. But, I mean, ultimately, it's still a pretty strong pick that you don't want to be giving away, especially when you have a lot of long-range setup with the Jhin and the Syndra. The J4 ban is a really good one, too. Actually, I hadn't even been considering that one. So at this point, I think if we just talk about top-tier junglers, I want to say that... I mean, I was going to say Viego, but King said, give me that Hecarim.
I mean, to be fair, but Viego has, like, I think, what, just around a 10% win rate running the LFL, right? He hasn't been...
It can't be that low. Yike has won every game he's played on it.
But, like, we'll get into that later on. It's, I mean, like, stats may not be my specialty, but all I know is that Viego bad more often than not. Hecarim, though, is a new pick that I don't find we have many stats on, but I don't necessarily mind the pick. It's been popping up more and more in solo queue and just within just a high-level games, and I'm interested, I'm curious as to see what they use to actually supplement this Hecarim, because considering they want something with all-in potential, so they need a buddy to go in with him potentially as well, as a set it's locked in for Geo.
Yeah, and the interesting thing with this Hecarim, it is popping up, like you said, in solo queue. Even if you look over North America and Proving Grounds there in the amateur scene, we are seeing some priority on this jungler as well. A lot of power farming going through, and of course, once you get that level 6, it is for setup, and it's not the same kind of long-range engage. You see something from like a Curtain Call of the Forge God, something along those lines, but it is that Onslaught of Shadows that lets you kind of close the gap. The fact that he'll be running in with that Ghost, a devastating charge, to be able to kind of disrupt the plays that GamersOrigin wants to be making here. You pair that with the fact that Irrelevant in this top side is going to be running the Jace. You will have that bit of poke. You will have that range damage, especially if you look at...
On deck, Geo versus Misfits Premiere. Beatdown? Nothing super crazy at the beginning, right? No, just calm starts, a little small bit of warning. And, okay, I may be a liar, as they find where tanks
How could you? I trusted you.
I'm sorry, you know?
You should be.
You're right. I will reflect on my actions by leaving the cast. I'm sorry. Good day.
Yeah, you must commit penance. I'm going to solo cast this from now on. All right, guys, let's take a look at what's going on here. GamersOrigin, Misfits, 2-3 teams. The guy who's not here anymore, who obviously walked away, had already explained it, trying to get to 3-3. Join Mirage on the upper ends of the ladder here. The thing that's most interesting to me, I think, that I've been thinking about a lot, is that I think GamersOrigin, pretty much, I already kind of think they're top 6 with how they have been playing, but I think if they're going to be able to beat Misfits here today, I think that will just secure them. I think a team, especially because of how much they struggled in week 1 and a bit in week 2, for them to be able to just really come back, really develop how they play in the early and mid game, and translate these leads to wins is so great.
And what I'm looking at as well, especially, just because one thing in terms of
Wait, you're not supposed to be here, remember?
Hold on, bro. I decided to commit penance by actually coming in and casting this with you.
Ah, okay.
I decided that's the only way I can truly, you know,
atone
for my sins is by having a fantastic cast. As for now, Vander is having some fantastic hooks. As you know, I find Thresh is just a really solid support in getting your AD carries out of trouble. But one quick thing I did want to bring up to Beatdown.
What is it?
We know that Vizichachi is probably going to have a bad time in lane. Up against melee, especially Jace, is not going to board too well. He's fine. He walks out of it as they just
fine.
He loses health, but he's a Thresh, right? He's fine. He'll regenerate enough within the next 10 minutes. That was a really sick scat of the week, bro. I was thinking if he possibly had Electrocute Ignite, Chayak dies.
Yeah, but this is organized play, so Ronaldo is going to take the teleport. Ultimately, though, the pressure on the Chayak, who we already talked about, was going through it yesterday on the Twisted Fate. In his defense, he is going to struggle when it comes to wave prio, when it comes to trading, until he gets the upgraded laser. And until that happens, yeah, this is what we're going to see. Ronaldo will have that priority. It's going to allow Kareem to do, well, Ravi, exactly this. Oh, no, he's going to blast code onto it. Yeah, that's not good.
Yep, and he sees the both junglers see each other as, although Kareem would love to be on the Lee Sin, both bot lane is roaming out, and they try to fight for Gromp and Blue. I'm just wondering, because Tinks is kind of keeping aggro on the Gromp, so he's taking a damage. Ronaldo's here as well, and Chaya can't even join them. So that's the smite. Glue take the second. Okay, both junglers use their smites, and they get their original targets, but feels bad, man, for Tinks.
Yeah, it is a little unfortunate. I mean, this is kind of what you expect, though. You don't have Prio mid, you don't have Prio bot, and you're facing a Xin Zhao as a Hecarim. Your Hecarim's looking to get to level 6. Tinks wants that ultimate upgrade. You, at the very bare minimum least, need that Sheen if you even want to be on the same screen as Kareem. Because at the moment, that's an illegal move, as Kareem is going to go ahead and double crab here. I think, I mean, it'll be nice for the vision, but he still has bot camps to go for, so I hope he does that next.
Taking away those early camps and denying all the experience from Hecarim, who is fiending and wants to be Monster Early Temple. Ronaldo.
Nice.
Okay, good flash. Yeah, dodges out and all that. But I have to trade that you take as Tinks, because in the flash shot as right now, somebody who does not have a flash is Vander.
Oh, nice.
And second Ignite looks to walk away as they just trade health bars. And Wave has committed his own flash, and Woolite.
Oh, yeah, Woolite. Let's see it.
Smiley is gone.
Oh, wait, unless.
Oh, my God.
The reload. He got him.
Oh, he gets him. Let's go, Smiley. There's a smile on his face. He takes out the star AD carry.
Oh, that is a little unlucky. Still, I like the confidence from Woolite. It's ultimately a good play coming through from Woolite and Vander. It is unfortunate, though. He goes down, is going to lose out on some of the waves here, but of course Smiley can't completely shove the wave just yet. He has to be very careful with his low HP bar. Ultimately, it is the 1-for-1. Both AD carries managed to pick up a kill here, and Woolite is that player where we're hoping to see those carry performances out of him. And I think ultimately this is kind of the start, that confidence to flash forward, to try and take that 2v1 at the end there. That's what you like to see.
And the fact that Smiley kept both his cleanse and his flash both really well.
Right.
On his bot side, considering, there's Jin right now not going to be locked up. But speaking of locked up, let's look back on this replay.
Right, and you can see it here. Both Vander, Woolite autoing, and I mean, man, the reload for Jin is really unfortunate here, and I honestly think the guns ended up playing out in Woolite's favor as well. Getting that Infernum, being able to damage both of them while they were grouped up was a big part of why that worked out here. But unfortunately for him, Smiley did get to recall, or rather get to reload fast enough, and also, I mean, landing the Deadly Flourish helped.
Yeah, it really did. By the way, I think a lot about, how people say red and white don't fight, right?
Yeah.
I keep thinking for combinations for, what is perhaps, blue and purple, or purple and blue. I think
purple and blue, I'm coming for you.
Purple and blue, I'm coming for you. I think is good. I think purple and blue. I was thinking of purple and blue, boo-hoo, because you're dead, right?
Yeah.
Blue and purple. Here's a nurple.
I thought about that one, but I didn't want to say it.
It's fine. I am brave enough to do so.
Someone
I'll go
has to
ahead
be.
and exactly. Someone has to be the martyr to go ahead and take these awful jokes away from you, Beatdown.
Thank you.
But speaking of taking things away, Kareem decides to take away more of his jungle camp stakes. He's having such a bad time. He's not even allowed to farm. He gets locked out as he's just trying to back off, man. Let him back at least.
I mean, the nice thing is that Tinks clearly does have a bit of an XP lead, which is nice. He's getting closer and closer to that level 6 mark that we keep highlighting and we need to see here. Tinks getting the tier 2 boots will be nice too for the move speed. Gives him a little extra damage on the E, a little lower cooldowns. It is definitely a bit of copium for the Hecarim player. It's like, hey, I'm good. I got tier 2 boots, The Xin Zhao keeps invading me. It's okay. I'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I actually didn't want Sheen at all.
Yeah.
I actually hate having items which would allow me to battle up against them, but it's that one thing that would also helped out a lot is an early dragon. Not taking it on the same mark that we saw previously in the other game as well. So Geo having a really solid go of it in the beginning. Remember, Endwave does not have flash here, but his ignite is up. So I'm thinking of Vander, maybe steps forward a little bit too much. We might see a trade of ignites before now. His bot lane prio and mid lane prio, which has been kept consistent for GamersOrigin, will give Kareem KT a really good time in the jungle as he looks to visit bot side.
Yeah, no, ultimately, this has been a really good early game so far for GamersOrigin. They've been using their priority to really smother Tinks on this bot side of the map. They're constantly pressuring him, making difficult for him to farm, stealing away camps whenever they can. And look what else they do. They get the first dragon. They know Tinks is not in the spot to be able to do anything about it here. And you can see it. Ronaldo has a bit of an inkling like, hey, you're walking up a little too much, buddy. What's going on here?
Yeah, he's pushing the wave a little bit too hard.
Speaking of walking up.
Penge wave gets ignited. There's a shield popped immediately. Has to try to run, but yep, that'll be all she wrote. As Vander picks it up with the ignite. Now Smiley has more engage, opens up the curtains, and we see Kareem KT's looking for is engage his way in, but the way is simply not in their favor. So all Smiley will do is put some poke back into their health bars.
Yeah, I think ultimately for Misfits, going for this Herald on the top side because Dragon's lost, Kareem's likely going to go towards his bottom side, means you get this for going for you as well. And with Tinks getting that level 6, having that ultimate, really going to be able to punish somebody here with a dive. It's looking like top lane is the goal. I mean, Irrelevant has already got a small CS lead going on here, and being able to just feed more gold in the sign of turret plates to this Jace, I think will be very beneficial for the side of Misfits. And at the moment, though, it's looking like Tinks is just going to go back to farming. I don't think he is actually going the Divine Sunderer. I see the Ruby Crystal, so he is probably going the tank Hecarim build, and is probably going to build tier coming up soon. So, I mean, ultimately, he will be tanky.
I mean, I'll go ahead and stop my thinking as Visit Chachi takes a beautiful trade against Irrelevant. He's out of mana, so he can aggress against him. I'm not going to commit the ultimate just yet, but Kareem spotted on a ward. So I think it might be a little precarious for him to walk into Irrelevant as right now because he can't trade with a Shock Blast at least one hammer down against them. But I believe they still want to go for this. Tanks is here as well.
Oh, yeah, this is looking good.
Level 6. There we go. He could ult him right underneath the tower. Yeah, he did exactly that. He lands on the Tanks
and he keeps him
the
under.
towers. Cream KT has to flash out to get one, but Versace's just so low. And Cream will have to abandon his top laner.
There you go.
As Tanks. Both junglers get one. No, he died in the tower. Why did he go back in, Cream? No.
Wow, that's actually a massive misplay. You're getting that extra gold under Irrelevant, but hold on.
I said Engine Wave is might be the next to fall. Misfits only land the ultimate nice Moonlight Vigil by Woodlight to get a second. Misfits pull out a lead.
Wow, I mean, that's ultimately like really positive for Misfits on both sides of the map here. It was ultimately going to be a 1-for-1 on the top side, but Misfits end up pulling out the 2-for-1 there, which is really not what you were expecting on GamersOrigin's side. You end up giving away some gold to that Jace again, who we talked about can become a problem as he continues to get towards that 2-item spike once he finishes that Muramana. And giving gold to Woolite on Aphelios, on this player we keep highlighting, is that big carry that Misfits want to play around, wanted to build this roster with him in mind, is also a big deal for this team overall here. GamersOrigin, their early game window where they can really pressure tanks is starting to run out, and now that Misfits can have a bigger impact, let's see what happens.
Well, what we see as well, has to use Splash to try to get away, but he can only go so far.
Yeah,
if I'm the re-engage, that's one given over to Smiley, but Tix is not here looking for the trade here yet again. As one goes down, the stopwatch. Beautiful timing, but it will not be enough. They're losing support. It's a 1-for-1. The lock on the Deadly Flourish will sadly will not allow them to re-engage anymore, so Smiley will only have to stick with the 1 kill as Misfits come out on top of the trade again.
Yeah, that ended up being a really impactful play here, a really impactful TP from Chayek, and that means that Herald is going to go down. You're probably going to get this turret here. It's going to be tough for Smiley to do anything unless he gets the inkling. Oh no, he actually ends up being frozen. So it's going to be easy. Extra gold in his pocket here, even though Ronaldo got to push a wave into the turret and get some plays. Ultimately, you pretty much end up going even.
Speaking of going even, for now, I believe this should have returned their tides a little bit in their favor.
Oh, he got one!
Oh my god, the final QDR, he takes him out. What a mad lad, Irrelevant, bro. How does he do it?
I don't know, man, but he's playing out of his mind right now. I had a note about Irrelevant only having better looks when he is playing the tanks. I take it back. He can play Jace whenever he wants. This dude is running the show right now, and it's Misfits constantly. Every time GamersOrigin tries to make a play, Misfits have been doing an excellent job of turning them around, and now we're going to see how this one started from the beginning here. Like, you could see it. He knew Ronaldo was there, starts it off with that empowered shock blast, and ultimately the facebreaker was a bit of a problem. You end up missing the scatter of the week, and that gives Irrelevant the opening. Even the way he dodged the true damage on it. This guy's good. I like him.
It's kind of slick, you know? I think he might be looking for a spot on just a slick society. Somebody who played cool all throughout the entire lane. Now, we know last week, right, Misfits and Irrelevant especially, you know, wasn't able to pop off. Right? He did have a little bit of a tougher time, but for now, with plays like these, he can do whatever he wants. Quick note though as well, I was thinking about, for GamersOrigin, the coach was saying that their early game is phenomenal, obviously out of this world, right? But they have to look a lot more to translate these leads into the mid game. Just sadly not able to do so. And Misfits are taking full advantage of that. As
things is going. Oh my god.
He's just dead. So they're coming for a mile. We would even use the ultimate, but this could be a nice trade as they find Chayek. Yet again, this man cannot catch a break.
At least now, we're seeing GamersOrigin make some of these positive plays. When you talk about translating leads into the mid game, into the later parts of the game, well, that's what Misfits are doing right now very well. They have a lot of leads that they're working with. They continue to push the pace and try and make some of these plays. Like they got Ronaldo on the bottom side. What does that mean? Irrelevant gets to keep free hitting this turret, farming these waves up, and if he gets this this solo gold tier, the local gold for that tier 2, he is just going to be absolutely juiced. The TP, of course, from Ronaldo will be able to dissuade him. The problem with that, though, is that that TP is going to be down for Whelp when they unleash in about 5 seconds.
That is a unfortunate predicament that they're currently in, but at least both Versace and Relevant have theirs, so they could be the potential difference makers for going forward in these fights. Now, Beatdown, we were talking a little bit about what I was afraid of in draft, right? With tanks, I was thinking, who's gonna go in with him, right? Once he commits his ultimate, he'll be in too deep, you know, and with no friends by his side, he might potentially die. But that hasn't been the case. Tanks hasn't even been the one going in half the time. You see off the engages from just Irrelevant and Vander.
Yeah.
Tanks arise later on and say, hey guys, thanks for doing all the work. I'll go ahead and take this kill if you don't mind.
Yeah, that does end up being how it's been playing out. I think later on, because we haven't seen the 5v5s break out just yet, we will see Tanks be the overall aggressor when the team needs something to come through, or it could still be Vander landing a very key death sentence. And at the point right now, when it comes to plays, we could see Tanks go for a steal if he really wanted to here. I mean, they have the vision. The Herald is on the scuttle, but I think they just don't want to bother with it.
Yeah, there's really necessarily no point of fighting against it, considering they want to keep pressure bot side, which they have been. Irrelevant. It can just consistently keep poking out with Chachi. That was a note that we actually made earlier too. So Chachi actually had to use his teleport to get down bot side to try to match Relevant too. So Misfits now currently hold TP priority. And Dragon coming up another 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Neither TP from GamersOrigin will be up at the time. So we should see them trying to set up to be there earlier on to try to get this next Drake. So I would look out for that. But Vision set up right now bot side in the river. You know, a little bit even, I would say, but a lot more words on the Misfits fight, especially as you're going towards Geo's jungle.
And there you go. Ronaldo realizes now, oh, wait a second. Tanks is not on the map. I think he's coming for me. And even though Kareem is here to delay the inevitable, which is that turret going down, I think ultimately that's just more gold into Misfits' pocket. And I imagine because of your point about the Dragon coming up here, Chayak, he's going to have his teleport up very soon. So he can actually stay here. He can even recall and come back if he wants to keep top lane pushed in, because he has that TP to get across the map. If he stacks a big wave that someone has to answer, you're effectively going to either force a 5v4 because someone answers the wave, or GamersOrigin, they're going to give away a lot of golden XP. They're already down 2.5k, so we're starting to get to this point where that might not be something they can afford.
No, and more often than not, who's going to be responding to Chayak? Ronaldo. Ronaldo, who, off the back of a CC as a Syndra, is a crucial team fighting tool for GamersOrigin. Especially now that he has a Ludens, you want to make sure that you can put the unleashed power onto Chayak, onto the Relevant, or even Woolite if you can get in range. But with him not necessarily trying to be there, might be a bit of a conundrum. But for now, though, we do see it rolling outside. No stacking from either team, as both of them know that this Dragon is a priority. They do see Ronaldo, Irrelevant, bot side, just consistently just trying to push the wave here as Geo look to do that from mid.
And Bear Dragon is a priority, largely because that Soul, well, Robbie, that's an all-powerful one. It is the Chemtech Soul that is up here and available in Chemtech, which is you know, we're not quite there yet. It's not out of the game yet, but it will be soon. That's something to look forward to. Until that moment, though, something both of these teams are going to be playing for here. You have all members of Misfits mid trying to threaten this turret, trying to make a play. My God, that's a lot of damage. And now they could force this pressure onto Smiley. It's going to be tough. He has a curtain call, but after that, I don't know if he can actually go in and set up for some of this fight. GamersOrigin might have to sacrifice this Dragon.
I believe Chachi also got spotted there as well in the middle, hiding in the chem fog too. So for now, he'll have to back away and link up with Ronaldo as they'll use the Earth Herald to push mid instead. And the GamersOrigin decide to take that trade, at least to get the turret here. But they're just simply not in range to try to go for a steal or any potential fight either.
I like this, though.
Yeah, turret will be the trade as Ripperl at least gets second charge, so not
they're going to get 2 turrets, I'm pretty sure, just because of the range that they have. The Moonlight Vigil does land, but ultimately, it's going to be easy for GamersOrigin to walk away from this one. I like this. It's not the sole point. What did we talk about on the desk, on the cast during our first series, Robbie? It's about trading objectives here, and it's about trying to get the most value for what you're losing. And I think GamersOrigin got themselves a nice chunk of gold in their pockets because of it, and now Woolite's in trouble.
Now, if this track looks to go in, he gets hooked
back.
Big
stun.
A big curtain call. All of them are locked inside of a corner. Misfits right now. I don't know if they can take this fight, but a big shock blast will blow one more up. And here's the second. Cream barely gets out. The knockup is nice as Wave and Ronaldo will disengage. A close call for GamersOrigin.
Close call. I would say it didn't even work out for them because this was the play they were looking for, trying to put pressure on Woolite and pick up more gold on top of what they got for themselves here. But what does that mean? They end up getting taken out by tanks. He goes in. He's very tanky, but still manages to do a good amount of damage. You can see it here in this replay. Watch. They go for the face breaker, but the lantern, the flash, everything makes sure Woolite manages to walk away from this one, and everybody gets to walk away. As you see Irrelevant with the poke from the distance, with help from his jungler, is able to get it done. And it's unfortunate. The play GamersOrigin were trying to make, I liked it. It was smart, but it just didn't quite work out. They weren't close enough to the kill.
Yeah, you see more often than not, GO are looking to blow somebody up as fast as possible and get out, right? Because past that, their damage doesn't actually fizzle out.
Yeah.
Up against Engine Wave, right? I don't think they can exactly blow him up right now. But going back to the point that I was making, right? For GO, it just simply cannot get into the choke. You saw Smiley as well was essentially just taking out the entire fight, and Vizichachi was in so deep, he was thinking that perhaps he could get some follow-up, but it was far too late by the time Kareem KT actually came in. So I found what Misfits had done to just stifle GamersOrigin playstyle, make sure Chachi can't engage for long range, and essentially just choosing do or die in some of these fights has been a really solid game plan that's working out really well for themselves.
And I think the thing to consider too with Sett, a good chunk of the damage that comes from his ulti is going to be based on the bonus HP of your target, whoever you are, well, RKOing into the enemy team. That one, I think he got Woolite, 80 carries, very squishy. He's going to have to look for targets more like Vander, more like tanks, if he wants those to have that really big impact there in some of those fights.
Speaking of big B3 targets, right? We were talking a little bit about what we could potentially see tanks go for. I was thinking about it. I was thinking, we did see yesterday the Gragas did build this, did build, just more follow-by type item, right?
Right.
We were thinking that he wants to be faster. Move speed is quite good, and I believe he's gonna use it to pop it up right now. Tanks though decides he's gonna pop over the wall at least and help his team push the wave. Not a bad play at all, and as they'll trade mid-turrets, we'll see Irrelevant continue to push.
Yeah, I mean, you have all 5 people. You know Vizichachi's on the bottom side of the map, and you know that you have time before you have to answer this bottom wave. It makes sense. You put all 5 mid, you ARAM, and force that mid turret down. It's some gold, and it's some pressure with that ability to push that mid turret deeper and deeper, and you're still okay because you're kind of even on the map where someone has to go answer the top wave. At this point, it is going to be Ronaldo who's going to do so. Now you're still in a pretty strong position if you are Misfits. You have kills on a lot of the big carries here, a lot of leads on some strong members like Irrelevant specifically, who has a bounty. He's past that 2-item point. This Jace is very, very powerful at the moment here. And because of the fact that it's so hard for GamersOrigin to actually approach, I think Irrelevant, since lane, when he got ganked twice and got a playmate on him 2 times, he hasn't actually died. He hasn't been under much threat.
No, because you see him responding to every single sideway, right? That's pushed up against him. We even saw on bot side as well just recently, going up against Vizichachi, just to make sure that bot consistently stays in a more advantageous for Misfits. And with the fact that he's been able to just pick up all that free farm, means he's pretty darn strong. As Misfits go for a cheeky Baron play, but I believe they did get spotted, and they decided that, GamersOrigin could just look to push mid. And that's something that definitely they don't want to risk.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal because you do get that information, you get Misfits off of it, and now they want to move up to clear vision, but I really think you should be looking for this this dragon, because this is going to be Misfits' sole point. You have the opportunity, because you pushed them out of mid and got to shove, to be able to go for it here, but instead, Tanks, I think he's looking for Ronaldo. Oh, the hook! Oh my God!
Oh my God, that was so clean!
I've never seen a mid laner so thoroughly destroyed, thrashed, eradicated. Ronaldo, as soon as that hook came through, I'm sure, took his hand off his peripherals, like, yeah, it's done, it's over.
Oh my God, you could even say he was made to become irrelevant, bro. They might as well just switch nameplates, because that's what happened to him. Second after second, and with a phenomenal pick like that, that will be so point right now for Mr. Look,
there's nothing to see here. It was a good read from Vander. They knew where he was walking.
They're just chilling, bro. They're waiting for him to push up, man.
That's the tough thing too. Like, I really think they should have GamersOrigin as soon as you go the info that. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, and that's one more. That's okay. that's one they'll take, right? They get the mid laner, and instead now Woolite will also die. Not on the camp fog, but simply pushed out. Like you said, teleport used to just respond to the wave as Tanks is roaming around, seeing who's going to the top side.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. Now it's a 5 versus 4. No Woolite for still another 20 seconds. So I think it's going to be a Baron play for GamersOrigin. At the very least, they want to make it seem like it's a Baron play and try to do their best to use this chem fog to their advantage. But for the moment, they know Misfits aren't biting, so they're actually going to try and take this one down. Jin Syndra, not known for the Baron take. They have to play for the turn. They have to play for some kind of team fight. It's not going to be about the 50-50.
Baron at about 7,000 health. The big shock blast and
nice
to scatter the weed.
Oh, here it comes.
It gets to now. Vander's the first target. Tries to run away, and the ultimate back a slam onto Vander. But looking for the turn on Chaya.
All the damage is good.
Second twice, they get him. It's a Chachi. It's the next target. A clean KT on the back end. Watch try to get one, but they'll simply trade. Irrelevant goes in the middle of all of it, and Angewave will go down too, but they get Chaya. GamersOrigin are trading evenly with Misfits. The fact that they're actually holding them off is so clutch, and it's a 3 for 3 by the end of it.
And that was insane. The death timer for Woolite being the most clutch thing there, I think. The fact that GamersOrigin, they found the play that they were looking for, but they ended up pushing a little too far. And what does that mean? You end up going for, we're just going to watch how this one plays out. So I like this. Ultimately, Ronaldo saw the shock blast. He's like, okay, somebody is definitely here. He tosses the spear and gets the double. What does that mean? GamersOrigin, they're jumping the wall. They're pulling the trigger. The problem ends up being here, Tanks. Big onslaught of shadows, which is what ultimately buys time for Woolite to come back into this fight. It helps you secure the kill, even though you lose your top laner in the process, and then Woolite can come help pick up.
Exactly like you're saying, yeah. Right there by the end of it, he was able to join the fight right by just the last couple seconds, like you're saying, but them catching Woolite, like you were saying, is such a massive play to at least allow this fight to go evenly. Because if Woolite was here the entire time, Aphelios were torn them apart, and this turn never happened. But considering it was decently even, right, Misfits are still managing to maintain a pretty healthy lead against GamersOrigin. And Geo are thinking, they need more plays like that. They need to be able to do more just to make sure they can keep pace, as we do have a small pause.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is GamersOrigin, I think they're picking good fights, making a lot of good decisions in the skirmishes that they want to go for. The problem ends up being where nobody's keeping an eye on Tanks. Nobody knows where this Hecarim actually is most of the time, and yes, part of that is the Chempog, which is very cool, very fun. Yeah. But the other part is the fact that he is looking for these flank angles. He's always looking for these opportunities to come from these angles nobody's expecting, and no one's really looking for him. No one's trying to keep track of him, and that gives him those opportunities to get big ults.
Exactly, and we've seen Tinks take advantage of that too. We were talking a little bit about this before, saying how he's been the one to come into the fights a little bit later on. He comes to the fights thinking, yo, hey, thanks for just doing all this damage. Yeah. I'll go ahead and take this, but the fact that he now has the opportunity to be the engage, he now has the opportunity to make sure he can capitalize on a lot more of these plays, and now that he has just a turbo chem tank, right? He can be a very fast boy, popping the goats and taking people out left, right, and center, making space for his team, which is exactly what you need to do for an Aphelios. Speaking of which, he goes down by Woolite, and the turn for GamersOrigin. I said they needed more fights like that. Well, how about another? The bot lane is gone from Misfits. They might not be able to get more out of this, but at least they'll stop the bleeding.
Here's the thing, that ends up being just an even trade for Misfits. Again, GamersOrigin find the angle they're looking for, but again, Tanks ends up breaking up the play here, and so much so, we're breaking the game. We got another pause going on here. I hope we get a replay of that fight. Maybe they'll throw it up and give us a look on how that happened here. But I think ultimately the fact that Tanks has been the only reason that these good looks for GamersOrigin have been not actually looking so good going for these 50-50 trades. But by that I mean like 2 for 2, 3 for 3, whatever the case might be here. And that's why they have to really be wary of this Hecarim.
Yeah, and like you were saying, Hecarim can be a powerful force, and we saw that come out just in that small little replay that was their position earlier as hopefully, like you're saying, although we might not get to see it right now, GamersOrigin are doing a good job of at least trying to keep things a little bit even. Oh, there we go. There's that replay.
Okay, so you do have the information with Ronaldo here, and I love this. Using the fog, no one's there. You have a pink, so you know it's good. This is the angle, and the TP comes right on schedule. Now, the problem comes, watch it. They're grouped up, and there it is. Yep. Tanks again with the ultimate. Even though you get Woolite irrelevant, and Tanks are able to do a lot of work in these skirmishes here, and that's ultimately because Tanks is so tanky. He can go in, set up these plays. He always gets to walk away.
You know what I loved there was that Vander decides to simply just stand in front of Smiley and just tank shot after shot after shot. Nobody decides to kill him, but he was like, nah, it's fine. I can take it. Please, more, I ask you. It's but although he dies by the end of it, but I think that he seems very, very happy that he was the one who went down and saved them for a lot of the poke damage coming their way. Speaking of poke, though, Vizichachi might be poked out
in trouble.
In the middle of 3. Good stopwatch to save himself. There he goes, Tinks yet again on the entire back line, but this time Woolite is alive, and since he did not die, GamersOrigin will be the one to do so. Great screens across the board. You get a great screen, and so do 2 more of you. GamersOrigin will lose soul.
Well, it's starting to look like GamersOrigin are fizzling out in this game, Robbie. You said that. That's how you described the damage that they were working with here. Jhin and Syndra, and of course, the set. It is all about the combo. Once you throw your load at them and press all of your buttons, that's all you got.
That's it.
That's pretty much all you have going for you here. And the fact that Misfits are continuing to stay ahead of gold, you have such tanky members like Tinks, like Vander, that can help weather that storm. There's just no way for you to win these fights anymore. I don't know if GamersOrigin can actually look for these 5v5s. They kind of seem to be lacking in the team fight tools. I think Vizichachi, especially on this set, it is a little tough here. You want to be ulting the Hecarim into his teammates, and I think that's what he was trying to do, but Chayak and Vander, they do a really good job at staying out of range.
Just spacing out the entire team fight. You saw just how far they were, and although even with Chayak as well, once he pops that Q, he's able to run around almost the entire fight. You don't see him and Woolite touch the entire time, because look who's at the front. Tanks and Irrelevant, in fact, are there frontlining every single little bit of damage. Like you mentioned, once that burst is gone, it's like chewing a piece of bubble gum, right? At the beginning, you think it's good, it's hopping out, but once that flavor goes away, once you can't pop that bubblegum flavor no more, what do you gotta do? And right now, I mean, that's what GamersOrigin are thinking. What do they gotta do?
Oh my
Tanks
God!
like that. So does Smiley go down? No way, dude. Right, one Murado.
Oh, he's GA.
You're fine.
We're fine. He still has 4 shot, yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, fine. that wasn't GA. No, it was the Chemtech passive. That's what it was.
I was gonna say just a silent passive will make sure he comes back alive for a couple more seconds, but we'll see as they run in one after the other. Enjoy is the next target as Tanks is slowly but surely creeping up against them, and Woolite decides, oh, is that 300 gold I see? Well, don't mind if I do, my friends, as he will look to indulge, and he'll get that as well.
Right, and I mean, we highlighted it. That Chemtech Dragon Soul is in for Misfits. It happened off screen. They have the strongest soul in the game, and we know it. That Scion passive coming through for every member is a big deal. They also have the Baron to play with, which means even though this mid wave is pushed in very, very deep, Misfits, they're looking to all in on this bottom side. They have all 5 members here, a 5,000 gold lead, Robbie, and they could end the game if they win the fight.
I mean, we'll see right now. They had their committed to TP, although Woolite gets chunked down to about a quarter of his health. Well, being that what he loses, that is the tower down, that is the inhibitor down now too, and Misfits decide that maybe a team fight right now in this choke might not be exactly beneficial, considering they don't have mid pushed out at all, as Korean KT is doing a good job of making sure that he can circumvent the wave.
Yeah, so having that mid wave pushed out really far is a big deal. Top lane is still pushing in favor of GamersOrigin as well. So that does mean this Baron buff doesn't get that maximum effect of affecting multiple lanes here. So Misfits still happy enough to walk away with an inhibitor in their pocket, with the fact that supers are going to keep auto pushing that bottom wave for the next 5 minutes or so. And they're going to use what's left of this Baron buff, push out this mid wave as Tanks constantly hides in Fog of War, just to make sure that, one, there isn't much vision that GamersOrigin can play for, and as always, they'll have no idea where this horse is coming from.
Speaking of which, to Fog of War, Chayak has also been doing a really good job of that too. We're talking a little bit about showing yourself across the entire map. He's not done that the entire time. He's walked from top all the way to mid. He's made sure to stay hidden in fog because I imagine he was thinking that if anybody would actually respond to the wave topside, if anybody was going to push it, because he knew that he was likely going to have to. And now he does exactly that, so he should be able to push topside, as well as right now, Misfits are just taking everything they can across the entire map. Like you like to say, just sandwiching GamersOrigin into a very bad position.
Now we have both teams pushing a side wave. Vizichachi doing his best to try and lessen the strain of that auto-pushing bottom wave. And of course, GamersOrigin Misfits doing a little bit of posturing in the mid lane, you know, Peacock showing their tails, stuff like that, as you have Chayak pushing top lane as well here. But this is the thing, the only outer tower left to go with this big wave that's stacking with all of Misfits members here. They can go ahead and make that play for it. We see the pings from GamersOrigin as well, where they are saying like, hey, they might make a play here. Can we do something about it?
I mean, as of right now, I don't believe that they sadly can, right? Considering how far apart everybody is. And they'll simply be left to respond to all the waves that are coming in against the GamersOrigin. They did have some good angles earlier when they found Woolite previously. And I think if they can find more of that, things would be quite nice. But as the timer takes down towards the Elder Dragon, they know that this is going to be near final fight territory, where they have to make their stand, or they will have to go down 2-4.
There it is, both of these teams, 2 and 3. Only one can even up the score today, this week, where Misfits a really good spot to up their record. They have the position to make the play for this Elder Dragon. They have everything going for them at the moment. GamersOrigin, they have to walk into this Hornet's Nest, and you can see it, how tough it is. You have the range poke from Irrelevant, and if you get too close, Tinks will find that alternate angle to start off the fight, all in their favor. GamersOrigin, Ronaldo's gonna need a big stun. Smiley's gonna need a big curtain call.
And there we go, immediately Tinks goes in, they find one, but they isolate Cream KT, because look at the backland, what a massive Moonlight Vigil! And there we go, Engine Wave goes down, but here comes the turn, Tinks is too far up. That was the sickest scat of the week I've seen. He lands all 5 orbs, Ronaldo just can't do anything else. GamersOrigin gets stifled, there's simply no engage, their top laner is gone, their support is gone, and their hopes of winning the game might be gone as well.
Oh, Irrelevant, he baits, he's TPing back in, full health, all his gold spent, and this could be where they end it all. He has the Ghost Blade here and ready to go. They might not actually have the play that they're looking for, because they don't want to lose members before the Elder. They just have to watch the scatter of the week, take this inhibitor, and walk away. I don't think Kareem's actually going to have an angle here. Ultimately, this is big for Misfits. They're going to have their jungler back in 10 seconds, and it's Hecarim, so he's going to be able to run and gallop his way to this Elder Dragon. GamersOrigin, they have to make a last stand, and they got to do it now.
Vizichachi does not have TP, he does have Flash, but he's very far away. He will be live in 2 seconds, so GamersOrigin will have to fight this out in a 4v5 until he gets your release. Just stall. A good job of doing that. Vander stays alive, the hook doesn't land on him. Before now, they're posturing for a fight. Misfits might not want to start the dragon, but they want to kill Geo.
And this is great, like the bottom inhibitor is still down. Misfits can stall this one out. Some people have recalled, spent their gold. Everyone's as juiced as they're gonna be, Ravi, and now the base is actually under threat. So all Misfits have to do is poke, lasted just a little bit longer to hold things off. I think Vizichachi ended up revealing himself. He's going...
No, he steps out too far. He's shrunk down to about half, and he's going to die. GamersOrigin, no.
Oh, they're going in.
All it is, the big knock of Cream KT is in, but they're just so far down. They can do nothing at all. GamersOrigin sent back to the base one by one, as Tinks as well sees, I don't need to push, I don't need to do nothing. The minions are doing that for me. Cause Smiley got a frown on his face knowing the game is all but over. Misfits go 3-3 in week 3.